I'm just going to show you how to go from this, which is basically the smallest separate plant that you could have, which is just a little branch that's been rooted, all the way up to this. So this is not yet ready for transplanting. This one here is just a 7-ounce cup. We're going to put them into 16-ounce pots. Like this one. There's a little bit of styrofoam in the bottom, very little bit of dirt on top. You don't need to pack the dirt. You don't need to fill this with dirt and put the plant on top. What you really want is to have a lot of space at the top, so that when you put the dirt in, you're going to build it up around it. No, so for this here, it's not a huge issue because this is just a small size change for this pot. Okay, but when we put it into, say, one of these big ones, we're going to set it down nice and low and pile the dirt up around the top, because the roots won't grow downwards, they'll only grow outwards. So we've had this in here long enough that the roots are holding the dirt together. So when I pull that out, that's going to be one solid clump of roots. Then I'm just going to set it in here. And we got some dirt and stuff ready. Not a major operation, I'm just going to show you. And I'm doing it one-handed. You can do it two hands if you want. So press up a little bit on there. You can also roll it side to side a little bit. Well, this one's pretty much ready to go. So I'm going to show you how strong these roots are, assuming this all stays together. Alright, so that came from that. Okay, now we're going to put it in here. Now it doesn't need to be perfectly level, because every time you transplant it, you can tilt it a little bit. If it's not perfectly straight, you can rotate it a little bit. And we're going to pack a bit of dirt in around the sides anyway. So this one is leaning. Let's see if we can turn that a bit, get a different angle in there. Get it to lean back so it's straight. That's not perfect yet, but that will work. That will work. So you don't want anything in this dirt any bigger than about the size of a cigarette filter. And some of these are in fact cigarette filters. They won't hurt these particular plants. I've never seen it hurt any plants, but some people don't believe me. So there's coffee grounds in there too. Now in order to straighten this out, we're going to have to tilt it back a bit while we do this. That's tea bag. It's all good. These plants here in particular enjoy rough compost that isn't finished yet. So I'm just gently tilting that back to hold it up straight. You want to be careful not to break that root ball apart while you're doing this. And just put a little at a time is the easiest, a little bit at a time. See what's happening here is the bottom of the root ball is very strong and the top is coming apart. That's not a huge deal, so long as I hold it up the right way while I'm doing this. So we're going to end up correcting well, correcting, straightening out the vertical orientation a little bit. So that's not fully potted yet, but you see we're getting some stability in its location here. You don't need to force it very hard, it's a very flexible plant. You don't need to pack the dirt down in there too hard either, just keep banging it down a little bit, nice and gentle. When it starts to not tilt side to side each time you turn it, that's when you pretty much got it. A lot of people are going to tell you there's all sorts of chemicals in cigarette butts that just kill plants. What they can't explain is a plant killing plant. I'm gonna just break it down for you. Cigarette filters are made of cotton. Okay. Now, cotton is not an indestructible material, and it will rot. So what we have here, it's almost totally straight. It's not a big issue, so I can still push it just the right ways here. I think we're just about done this part. Doesn't have to be perfectly level, doesn't have to be done perfectly the first time. Because what you want is for the dirt to settle a bit, but you don't necessarily want to pack it down. That's just about ready for now. Here's your empty 7-ounce styrofoam cup. And here's the trick to not compacting all that dirt and screwing this all up right away. These don't grow perfectly straight anyway. They're going to angle anyways, so turn them a quarter turn every so often. And we're going to give this a good soaking. So I'm going to fill that all the way up, just about halfway up the side of the pot. This one doesn't need as much. This one I can actually water from here because it's been in these pots for a while, so it's nice and stable. And that's about all there is to that, man. I'm going to leave that soaking for a little while. It's going to soak most of that water up. And then I'm going to bang it on the floor again, and I'm going to move it to go sit on top of another pot. So this one here, if it grows about as quickly as these ones, we're looking at about maybe 3 months, maybe 6 to get to this size, depending on different factors. They like really bright light, they like direct sun, really bright light, they like high humidity, they can handle floods, they can handle droughts. These particular ones do not handle drought all that well, but I have been working on that by changing the way I water them as they mature. When they're very small, you got to keep water in the bottom of this tray at pretty much all times. What I do is I water it, I fill it up to here, and then I let it drain out, I let it dry out. And these here, it's the same basic concept, you know, just you don't want the soil totally drying out on these ones. And these ones here, they'll tolerate it. The soil can get very, very dry, and then you can soak it again, and they enjoy that. They seem to. And you can tell if these are happy. Sometimes the one single leaf will just turn yellow, and it'll still feel the same texture, same thickness, everything's fine, but it'll turn yellow, and then a day or two later it'll turn green again. So that's not too unusual. Just seems to be the way the plant lets us know that it's got, you know, a little bit of a mood. Alright, so those are the Euphorbia X Lomi Forever Flower Samona hybrids. Shout you out.